Okay, Osman, so I'm going to be explaining to you the concepts of the TED Talk that we did in my instructional technologies class. So the reason I've put the Magna Carta on there is because they referred to texting as a completely separate language. So the reason that it's a separate language shows that it has to be assessed separately, the same way that you don't assess British English and American English in the same way, because a boot is the trunk, the same way that a bonnet is the hood, even though they mean completely different things in our world. Uh, Pubs are the same, but they have other things that are subtle, like gray and gray are the same word, but not spelled the same way. In American, it's an A. In British, it's an E. But they're the same, like, color. The only thing is that it changes. So, as you can see, the Magna Carta is the thing that kind of separated us from Britain initially. Like, it separated the ruling class from the working class and basically dichotomized them, tried to bring them together, but still spelled out that, like, we're different and we need to be protected because you guys are kind of bashing us. And that's kind of what's happening to texting now. So what's happening to texting is basically what's happening to this Magna Carta right here, is that it's being assessed in the wrong regards, because what the Magna Carta asked for was rights, not like secession or anything like that, but it would have inevitably end up to like a separation of the people that were basically being ostracized there. And that's what texting's doing now, is it's ostracizing everybody. Even though the Magna Carta is a document, it's still like just a piece of parchment paper, the same way that a cell phone with, dials and buttons and all those things is still just an object of a viewing screen. Like, this part is still going to be a viewing screen for whatever you're using, whether it's lighting up a design or whatever. If it's LCD, if it's not, if it's ancient, it's still conveying some message on it, right? And that's the idea with texting and the TED Talk. Is that the message is the important part. You have to assess it on like a case by case substantive level. The same way that like not all English is higher order English, like in the collegiate level, right? Because you have English that is of, I guess, what's the word? Lower vernacular, especially when assessing it, because it's not using as higher concepts, or not as, I guess, more common vocabulary words is the word I'm trying to get to. But basically, they assess the cell phone as this understanding that it's dumbing us down through texting, even though it's mostly like it's the parchment paper to a scribe. Like, if the culture is ignorant and the scribe is recording it, is it the parchment paper's fault for being ignorant, or is it just a victim of the circumstance? Is there anything that you didn't get about that? Any questions?
I understood all of it pretty much.
Yeah? So how do you like my drawing on the cell phone?
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good, right, for being really quick. Alright, so that's basically the recap of that. I mean, of course it was longer and he used a lot more analogies, but the point was you have to assess it as a different language. And just because it's a different language doesn't mean it's bad, it just means it is not of the same branch. Or it might have been of the same branch, but it has diversified enough to be called different, right?